Yeah, I know I said I don't film when I'm driving, and it's true, I don't, except like this is just a basic, dirt road. I'm only going 14 miles an hour right now, and there's nobody on the road. I got the truck running. I'm doing a diagnostic test right now. I'm actually going to take it straight to a mechanic and just see if they can swap out a spark plug for me, because I think that's what my diagnostic test that I'm doing right now is going to indicate, that I just need one new spark plug. And of course, I'd like to get them all changed, but I may not have time to do that just because I got the dogs back there. So if they can just change out one, then I'd be really happy with that. The thing is, I'm out of propane, like I said, and the stuff in the fridge, I had to move it into the freezer because the freezer is holding some ice in there, and it's keeping things, fairly cold. But another day and all my stuff's gonna go bad, which, is not the worst thing or whatever. Okay, see, the truck feels pretty good, but it vibrates a little bit. There's a little bit of a misfire going on. And I have this code reader. Let me show you this code reader. So right down here below the dash where it says Blue Driver, when I got that thing, it was about 130 bucks, something like that. And that thing comes in so handy. No matter what kind of vehicle you have, if you can't read the codes, when you get a check engine light in your vehicle, you want to be able to read the codes. And a lot of times you just have to take it to the auto parts store, and they'll usually do it for free. But if you have this that Blue Driver device, and I'll put a link to it, of course, to Amazon, so you can check it out on Amazon. It just hooks up right to your phone, and then you can read all the codes, and so you know what that check engine light means. So especially if you have an older vehicle and you got that check engine light coming on, it's really worth it to have that device. I really have got a lot of use out of it. It's totally paid for itself, for sure. When I was in Phoenix, I had this shuttering problem with the engine, and first I thought it was like, oh, the wheel, I got a flat tire or something, but I could tell really quickly it wasn't that. I could tell it was the engine. And when I pulled over to take a look at the engine, it was really rocking, vibrating, and it seemed like a misfire to me, but I wasn't sure. And when I ran the Blue Driver device, then it said, yeah, you got a misfire, and it tells you exactly what cylinder the misfire is on, so you can really troubleshoot the problem a lot easier with that device. Even if you don't have any mechanic ability, and I have a little bit, then it's useful just because then you know what part to go get at the hardware store if it's something simple, or at the at the auto parts store. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get us up to the mechanic. Holy moly, it's actually not, considering it's not that hot out. It's probably 80 degrees right now, but if you're in the sun, like you really start to feel it. There's a really nice little breeze, so I'm grateful for that. So I made it to the auto repair place, and they said it was going to be a couple more weeks till I could get an appointment. So, that's kind of good news, but also it's going to get super hot here. But I got some gas so we can run the air conditioner, at least for a few days. And I just loaded up on water, which, I only had maybe 10 gallons left. And so I'm glad I got the truck running so I could get the water, get the propane. Now we're going to drive a few miles back to camp. Let's go see the dogs and hook up the propane so I can get the fridge going. I'm really excited about that. I'm super hungry too. And I've been cooking with my little camping stove. Like this morning, I was like, I'm not even gonna make coffee. And I did actually make coffee, but I used the dehydrated stuff, because I have a bunch of the dehydrated stuff, which I rarely use, but it's good to have as a backup. That way I didn't have to use whatever little propane cans I had left. So let's go get that hooked up. Check this out. You hear Dodger right now. Echo's being super good. This happens every time. I think it's really, really cool. It's pretty cute. Because Echo's really good in there. Dodger's really good too. Dodger's up in bed where he's supposed to be because of his leg. Good boy, Echo. So Echo comes shooting out. He does this every time. I've only been gone probably an hour. You a good boy? Yeah, you missed me so much. You missed me so much. Buddy? Let's go get Dodger. So Dodger, good boy, good boy. See what Dodger does is he sees Echo get excited. Echo, come here. Yeah. He sees Echo get excited in there, and that's how Dodger knows that I'm coming back. Because I don't think Dodger can really hear the truck pull up so much, just because his hearing's not that great anymore. So he sees Echo get excited, and Echo doesn't bark. And that's why you hear Dodger barking. Dodger kind of uses Echo as like his detector for different things. Yeah. All right, so let's get the propane hooked up, and I'll show you how I do that. And then I got a couple things I was thinking about driving back here. This sun visor is awesome. I got that in my Walmart pickup. It was like 15 bucks. It's really awesome to have. I used to just use chunks of reflectix like this, but it just wouldn't stay up there very well. So it's kind of like what I have for the driver's side, or I can put it on the passenger side too. But the way I'm parked here, the sun comes in only through the driver's side. But see, the thing is, it just kind of falls. And then once you slam the door shut, it'll fall down like that. I don't know, maybe you guys have a better way for me to secure it in the window. And there's probably a piece that I can get that just pops right in there. Then I take these pieces of a lid from a cottage cheese container and jam that in there. That'll hold it in place. It's hard to do with one hand, but you know, I'm trying to document this exciting NOMAD footage at the same time. So that'll hold it in place, and man, that keeps the truck really cool. I got the full tank up here. And, you know, I have 2 tanks on here, and these will last me basically this time of year when I don't need to run the heater. 2 tanks will last me a month apiece. The thing that uses the most fuel is the heater. Okay, the fridge doesn't actually use too much, which is nice, but that's the main reason I needed it right now. So I want to talk about what happened at RV pit stop. That place is really cool, and I definitely recommend it. You should totally go there to dump your tanks. You can dump your tanks really cheap, and you can get water really cheap and get all kinds of different water, different kinds of filtered water there in different amounts, and they charge you basically for the size of your rig. And they also have propane there. It's probably not the cheapest price on propane. It's probably 20 cents more, I think, per gallon, but it's super easy, and there's always somebody there. They're right there waiting, and they fill it up really good. I've never had any issues, and this time I didn't have any issues either, except what happened was I got this filled up, and it was like 25 bucks for this 7-gallon tank here. And what I always do is I always check this thing to make sure it's tight. And they're really nice there, you know, like they'll pull the tank out of your vehicle for you, and they'll load it right back into your vehicle for you too. And that's what this guy did. And I didn't want to check to make sure it was tight in front of him, because I was like, well, of course he tightened it. Like, I don't want to, you know, I felt like, oh, if I tighten it right in front of him, he's going to say like, oh, well, of course I tightened that. What do you don't trust me or something? You know, that's just how my thinking is. So I didn't check it. And then, when I just pulled it out of the truck right now, it was totally loose. The thing is, like, it wasn't leaking. You know, it didn't smell like propane in the truck or anything. And I didn't hear any hissing, anything like that. This black cap was on like it's supposed to be, kind of protects the threads there in case it bounces around. So he put the cap on and everything. But, so I think he just gives it enough cranks till the gas stops flowing, and then he stops. But I crank it all the way down till it's tight, just to make sure. So he probably knows more about these tanks than I do, but I should have checked it, because if I would have checked that, I would have been like, oh crap, it's not down tight, and I could have tightened it right then. Because really, if it bumped something, then it's probably just a half a turn or something, and then you're spewing out propane. So anyways, I didn't tip anyways, so I'm glad I didn't tip. All right, let me show you how this works. I mean, obviously it's not really exciting, but some of you won't know how to do this until you see someone do it, just like me. So you just flip the switch over, and this switches between tanks. So you go this side or that side. So I'll switch that over, and then you see how this is green here, right here? This is the little indicator that shows you that you got some sort of propane flow. And I think technically it changes colors. See, there's a green one, and then there's like a couple red ones on top. And I think you can sort of tell how much propane you have left. Like it's sort of a pressure indicator. I'm not positive about that, but it definitely turns red when there's no propane, and then it'll turn green, and I'll show you that right now. So just watch right there, and then when I open this up, just make sure that's tight. This is tight. Make sure this green one's tight there. I'll open this up, and then we can watch that turn green. There we go. So that's how you know you got positive gas flow. And so now I'm gonna go inside and turn on that fridge. And let's take a look and see what it's like inside. And I always have this switched to gas. So this might blink a couple times and it should start right up. And for me, leaving this on 2 works really, really well. I think if it gets super hot out, I think sometimes I switch it to 3. But the only really good way to tell is with the thermometer. So I got this thermometer here, and you can see what it's at. It's pretty high up there. It's 58 degrees. You can see I pulled most everything out. You know, I did leave the eggs in there. I even left the mayo in here. But you know, it's only been 58 degrees for, I don't know, last 12 hours. The freezer, I threw some stuff in here, and it's the stuff that was frozen is definitely starting to melt. But like I threw cheese in here, the cottage cheese, yogurt. Oh yeah, see, these berries were rock hard, and they're all soft now. But there is some ice back in there, so I know it's cool in here. I can feel it. It feels nice. So I'll let this warm up, I was gonna say, but cool down. And then hopefully I won't forget it in there, and I can transfer the stuff that's supposed to be in the fridge back into the fridge out of the freezer before it freezes. Oh, okay, man. All right, so I do have a little discussion. A couple things I was thinking about. You know, this is Quartzsite, and it's awesome here. It's super awesome here. If anything, like, it's possible that I'm getting a little sick of the place. That's not the right word. Like a little bit bored. Not even that really. It's just trying to organize things and get things set up. I got to get out of the wind. He's a good dog. The wind feels good, but it doesn't sound great on the audio. So I'm trying to think about you guys that are watching. All right, so Quartzsite is awesome. I love it here, and I can't wait to come back next year, and I will be back. But usually we'd be gone anytime now because it's starting to get hot. We got a few days of heat coming up, and I have enough gas so we can run the air conditioning. But after that, it's just not fun to run the air conditioning all day because you're running the generator, and it's wear and tear on the generator. You're using gas. You got to go back and fill up the gas jug. I only have a 5-gallon jug in the truck. So I'm kind of thinking about all that stuff. It's funny, in the desert, you think like, oh, I'll walk around to the other side of the trailer and it won't be windy over there. But the wind is just like everywhere. It goes every way. Just constantly like swirling around. So I'm looking forward to new territory. Basically higher elevation, not really too far from here, just higher elevation, still in Arizona, but it'll be much cooler and there'll be a little bit of shade, a little bit more shade. And that's good for me, but it's good for the dogs. Echo's actually from Arizona. When I got him from the Humane Society, they had picked him up in Arizona and flew him to Seattle. I guess the dog catcher caught him in Arizona, and he didn't have any identification on him or anything. So he's actually used to Arizona, and he likes the heat. He'll lay, you know, under the trailer just like Dodger does. Dodger's got double coats, so I got to be aware of that. Oh, I can't get out of the wind. So let's do this inside. I'm really glad to be back at camp once again. It feels really safe. So I have to get the truck fixed one way or another is that's the issue. All right, what did I want to talk about? Really, the only reason I really do want to leave, and I would be leaving right now, is because of the heat. So that's what we're going to have to manage here is the heat. And if you watch the Got Out channel, like we usually, we've had pretty good luck, really. When I first started out, just things like getting a flat tire, I was like, oh crap, what do I do? And the first flat tire I got, I can remember, and there's a video of it. I was leaving the campsite where I was at, and I got a flat tire, and luckily I always check my tires before I get back on the pavement. And that's when I noticed a flat tire, and I had the trailer hooked up and everything. We were ready to go. And so I turned around and went back and found a new camp right in the same area. And I camped there overnight because I was like, how do I fix this tire? And I had all the tools, to patch the tire, to plug it up and everything. So that's what I did. But it took me a day to kind of figure out how to do it because I hadn't really done it before. So I'm just saying, like, now that, I got this spark plug issue, it's like I have a spare spark plug and I can do it myself, but I've read horror stories online of people breaking the plug off in the engine. So that's my concern. If that happens out here, then I'm stuck out here until I can get somebody to come out here and fix it for me, because that's something I can't repair on my own. I would need a device, a tool, and I've never done that before. So I just can't risk it. So those are just kind of the nomad thoughts that I'm having. And we've been really lucky with the vehicles. And, I have done a few little repairs. There were some cracks in the frame of the trailer, and I got those repaired. That was actually here in Quartzsite too. So really staying here in Quartzsite is a good idea because there's those kind of services. There's people that know how to do those things that I don't want to tackle myself. But the heat is the killer. And going into town, it's like, it's getting really dead in there. And it's hot. Just walking around on the pavement is so hot, man. And coming back into the camping areas here, it's kind of just like, I was saying to myself, it's like, well, it's just the dregs of the people that are left, that are remaining. It's just kind of the scraggly people, the people that are like all sweaty, and it's like, this is nothing. It's like, they're tough. Like they're going to stick it out. They might stay here all year, but it's super hot. The good thing is there's RV parks here. So that's going to be my backup. And now that I'm saying that, like, that's a really good backup. The problem is I'd have to use the truck to tow the trailer, which, since the truck's not running in tip-top shape, I don't really want to tow the trailer, but I think I could do it. So that's going to be my backup. Is we're going to go to RV park and we'll plug in, and then we'll have AC 24/7. And so the heat will be nothing for us. These are just, nomad thoughts. And I know for some of you, you're going to be like, I'm sure it'll be in the comments that I'm overreacting or I'm stressing about things I shouldn't be. And, you might be right in certain ways, but I'm just trying to handle this in a safe way, mainly because of the dogs. I can be stuck anywhere as long as I have water and my backpacking gear. Like, that's pretty much all I need. And shade. I need shade. The dogs, though, Dodger's got his hurt leg, and man, I still got to do that video where I explain everything that happened. That's coming up. I'm not going to do that right now either. I love this lifestyle. My neighbors invited me over for dinner last night. So actually, I may not look like it, but I'm super clean. I took a shower last night before I went over to my neighbors and had dinner. And They do the same thing that I do, only 6 months out of the year, and then they have a place where they live. But they're like in their 80s, and you can tell they're happy and they're healthy. They were telling me how healthy they are, and I mean, it's obvious. I was surprised when they said they were 80. I think 82, something like that. So it's like, if they can do this, you know, and they're happy, and you can tell they're healthy and they're enjoying life, and they have a totally different vibe of people in the city, generally speaking, that thinking about it in that way, like, I'm doing the right thing, and this is sort of tough times as a nomad, but it's really just a matter of figuring things out and juggling it and keeping myself happy, which I don't really need much, but keeping the dogs happy, or if you had someone else you're with, you know, keeping them safe and happy. It's the heat, man. The heat is kind of freaking me out. It's only going to get to like 82 or 83 today, and in a few days it's going to be 10 degrees warmer than that. So stay tuned for that video. Hey, thanks you guys for watching the Got Out channel. Hit the like button. Let us know you're watching. We like to know you're watching. The dogs and I are having a good time reading your comments, and I'm doing my best to answer questions and things like that. Let me know if you want me to do like a live Q&A. I've kind of been thinking about that. Like, that might be kind of fun to do. It'd be fun for me, actually, because I'm out here all alone. And so any kind of interaction with other people is kind of fun. It's like a fun thing to do. All right. Catch you guys in the next video.